It's like fishing. How many of you guys like to go fishing? Raise your hand if you like to go fishing. All right. I hate fishing. I just got to be honest with you. Okay? Maybe I just lost you right there. You're like, oh, I don't like this guy anymore. But I'm just being real with you, okay? I'm not going to make stuff up. But, so, it kind of ruins my illustration because I'm going to act like I know a lot about fishing. But when I was a kid, my grandpa did take me fishing, okay? And my idea of fishing was this. You take a fishing pole, throw it in the water, you set it down. All right, let me know if something happens. And you know what? I never caught anything. Never caught anything doing that. But that's not real fishing. Those of you who do real fishing, I've seen guys that do real fishing. They've got this tackle box and they bring like, you know, and they've got all these things. They're tying these things on there and they're like, you know, and then they're tying, they got another, you know, and they're holding two loose ends, reeling this one in a little bit, keep that line tight, and they're like, okay, that spot's not working, you know, and setting that one off, and getting it all set up here, and then, oh, that bait's not working, I'm going to try another one of these lures, you know, tie that on there, you know, and that's seeking right there. My idea of fishing, throw it in the water, see what happens. But real fishing, man, these guys, they're just out there, they're like, yeah, there's fish in this water, I can tell, you know, I bet there's some right over there. Dropping these things. Amazing. You see, it's fun to watch the fishermen. I don't really like fishing, but I like to watch these guys. You know, we get them at camp sometimes. These guys will show up with like 4 fishing rods, and they got 2 tackle boxes, and they're like, where's the fish, you know? But those guys understand seeking. That's what it means to seek. And that's what Jesus is saying. If you want to be used by God, if you want God to take you from small time to big time, you got to not only ask Him to do it on a continuous basis, but seek for God's answers. Now, sometimes God doesn't answer the way we think He's going to. I heard a story, and you probably have heard it before too, about a policeman who was walking the streets one night, and he came across this man who was down on his hands and knees underneath the street lamp. Okay? So this guy's down here, and he's doing this, you know, and the policeman said, sir, you having a problem there? He goes, yes, I dropped my car keys. I can't find them. And the policeman says, well, I'll help you out there, you know, and the policeman gets down, and he's feeling around in the grass, you know, and trying to find these keys. And after about 5 or 10 minutes of this, the policeman says, hey, are you sure this is where you dropped your keys? And the man says, oh, no, I dropped them over in the dark alley, but the light is so much better here. I thought I would look here. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But sometimes we do the same thing with God, because we ask God for His help, but we don't want to look for the answers in that area. We don't want God to answer our prayer that way. We want Him to answer this way, because, man, this would be great if God would just put the answer right here for me. But God doesn't always do it that way. I got a friend, some of you guys might know him, his name's Keith Davis, and Keith is just a fantastic guy. He's about 38 years old, and he's a boxer. A few months ago, Keith came to me and he said, Steve, I was just talking with this guy, and he teaches classes on how to dig wells by hand. And I said, well, that's kind of weird. Why would you dig a well by hand, you know? And Keith says, I think I'm going to take that class. I said, you're going to do what? You're going to take a class on digging a well by hand? I mean, what? Keith, you're going to show up and he's going to hand you a shovel and say, start digging. You know, what is there to dig in? I'm thinking Little House on the Prairie, you know. Mr. Edwards tie a rope around you and lower you down and you're beating the dirt out. But he says, no, I feel like this is something, you know, that maybe God wants me to do. And I was just like, where are you getting that? Keith, you live in America. Why do you need to learn how to dig a well by hand? You know, this just doesn't make any sense to me. But I said, hey, go for it, man. You want to take a class on digging a well by hand? Go for it. You know, why not? And then, about a month ago, after Keith had taken the class, he was talking to this missionary in Haiti. And this guy runs an orphanage down there. And Keith said, what's your biggest need down there? And this man said, man, Keith, one of our biggest needs is fresh water for these kids. There's just no wells down there. And we can't bring equipment down there to do it. What? He said, man, I just took a class on how to dig wells by hand. The missionary's like, are you serious? So guess where Keith is right now? He's in Haiti, digging wells by hand so these kids down there can have fresh water. That's what happens when you broaden your horizons and you let God answer your prayer the way He wants to.